Hello and welcome to Manga 96, and today we're going to talk about One Piece. Today's topic will be the two most prominent female characters in the Marines, which is saying something as Oda always tries to include female characters in any group he introduces, but he failed that in the biggest organization that he created, with there only being 4 named female characters that have some rank of importance in the Marines, and out of the 4, one is a fan creation that Oda used for one cameo appearance so far, one is a Marine from Garp's generation, and lastly we have the 2 that I will cover today, Tashigi and Hina. Not a great selection, especially considering that in the last new group that Oda introduced, the Tobi Roppo, we got 2 female characters in a group of 6 or 5 depending if you include Drake or not. And in the whole Marines we have just 4 characters, which is a missed opportunity on Oda's part. Anyway, let's start with a more prominent character out of the duo of Tashigi and Hina, and that's the Kuina look-alike Tashigi. Captain Tashigi is a marine officer serving under Vice Admiral Smoker in the base of G5. She was originally introduced as a Master Chief Petty Officer in Lockdown, but was promoted to ensign after the events of Alabasta. During the time skip, she was promoted to Captain. Tashigi was first introduced when the Straw Hat Pirates docked in Lockdown, where she was stationed. Smoker, her superior officer, seems to regard her as a protégé, and the two work very well together. Despite her proficiency in sword fighting, she is usually clumsy, which gets on Smoker's nerves. She is extremely interested in katanas, often identifying their names and origins on sight, even when in danger. She may be distracted by the presence of a famed blade. During the Lockdown arc, she was even shown carrying what seemed to be a pocket-made to field guide. Tashigi is very brave and reckless when fighting her opponents, a trait typical of a swordswoman and a swordsman. She will battle anyone she considers an enemy, regardlessly of their reputation. This fighting spirit often turns into a carelessness and has led to her defeat on several occasions, much to Smoker's disdain. 2 examples would be her fight against Nico Robin, during which her knee was broken, and her fight against Law, during which she was cut in half. She is also stubborn and may refuse to accept defeat if she feels she has been looked down upon. A scene when she demanded a rematch with Zoro indicated that he didn't cut her down. She even refused to give up after Law separated her torso from her legs and chopped Shigure in half. Her endless determination could be interpreted as a sore loser attitude, but it seems to derive from her desire to protect what is important to her. Like Smoker, Tashige's definition of justice differs from that of the Marines as a whole, and she does not hesitate to fight in its defense. Her stated goal is to remove all Matos from the hands of those who would use them for their own selfish ambitions. Despite her disdain for pirates, Tashigi is willing to work with them and abandon her marine pride if she deems it necessary for the greater good. Tashigi felt that as a swordswoman she will be perceived as inferior to swordsmen by default, and she accused Zoro of refusing to cut her because of her gender. She also felt insulted when Law cut her without killing her. As a swordswoman she would rather face death than she shamefully defeated. However, this did not stop her from trying hard to get stronger and achieve her dreams. Tashigi wears her shirt buttoned up higher and shows less cleavage than many other female characters, indicating that she is somewhat reserved about her body. This was especially apparent when she was trapped in Smoker's body, as she wore his jacket fully closed and protested heavily when Smoker, trapped in her body, took off her bra and wore her shirt completely unbuttoned. Her shyness was also shown when she screamed in embarrassment after returning to her body and finding it in that state of undress. One of Tashigi's most prominent character traits is her absent-mindedness. When Smoker was chasing after Luffy during the Alabasta arc, she failed to recognize the situation until Smoker told her what to do. In the anime, she had a brief but polite interaction with Chopper without realizing that he was a talking reindeer. The most significant example of her oblivious nature was when in the Lockdown arc, Tashigi spent a very long time failing to realize that the free sword-carrying haramaki-wearing swordsman she had befriended was in fact the 3 sword-carrying haramaki-wearing pirate hunter Roronoa Zoro. Tashige's relationship with her superior Smoker is strictly professional. Smoker often scolds her for such mishaps as mistaking a fellow Marine for Smoker because she wasn't wearing her glasses. Her absent-mindedness greatly gets on his nerves, and in the 97th chapter of the series, Smoker himself claimed that she was the shame of the Marine HQ. Despite this, he respects her and trusts her judgment, as seen when he tells her to follow her own sense of justice in Albarna. Tashigi always apologizes to Smoker when she makes a mistake, and she tries to follow his orders as closely as possible, indicating an earnest admiration for her mentor. Recently, she has shown some defiance towards her superior. When he scolded her for begging law to spare their lives, she retorted that it was the only way she could save their subordinates and the abducted children from Virgo. Smoker saw her logic and realized that he was the one who had been mistaken. She later glared at him for having worn her shirt unbuttoned when he was in her body. As a member of the Navy, Tashigi is a natural enemy of the Straw Hats. As Smoker's subordinate, she often clashes with them, particularly with Zoro. During the Alabasta arc, Tashigi couldn't understand why Princess Vivi was allied with the Straw Hats and originally assumed they were holding the princess hostage. However, during the Battle of Albarna, where a civil war was breaking out, Tashigi ends up helping the Straw Hats in their mission to stop Crocodile. Despite Tashigi being torn over this, her clash with Crocodile and Robin made her realize how powerless she was and decided she had to assist the Straw Hats. After Crocodile's defeat, she shown lenience towards the Straw Hats by not arresting them, despite how her subordinates said it was the perfect opportunity. When she reunites with Smoker and made her report of the events, she affirms her resolve to one day be strong and catch the Straw Hats under the justice she believes in. During the Paramount War, she attempted to fight Luffy before Smoker intervened. After 2 years, she clashed with the Straw Hats crew on Punk Hazard as originally their enemy. While she continued to have an antagonistic disposition towards them, she was willing to ally with the Straw Hats once again because of their shared goal in saving the children that were being kept prisoners by Caesar Clown. Her views on the pirates seemed to gradually change because of their various actions, such as being rescued by Sanji, her clash with Monet along with Zoro, and their constant assistance in saving the children. Because of those interactions, Tashigi seems to respect the Straw Hats for not only their actions but also their strength. After Caesar's capture, she was willing to bow and apologize to Nami for the Navy allowing Caesar's action to go unpunished until his defeat, and she even came to the Straw Hats' defense when the members of the G5 began insulting the pirates before they parted ways. Tashigi seems to hold a grudge against Zoro, believing that he was using his swords for means of making money, bounty hunting. After learning his true identity and his new career as a pirate, she challenged him to a duel. Zoro defeated her, but she refused to accept her defeat unless he actually caught her. One of Tashigi's goals is to defeat Zoro in order to gain his Wado Ichimonji, as she believes that such a renowned blade should not be in the hands of a criminal. Much later, she notices that Zoro was also wielding Shusui, furthering her interest. Upon seeing his improved skills after the 2 years, she seems to have a respectful understanding of his immense power. It also appears that she has seen how wrong she was about him attacking women after seeing him harming Monet in her defense. Tashigi mostly relies on her great speed and agility in battle. She has been aiming to get stronger since the end of the Alabasta arc. After the time skip, Tashigi has shown considerable strength, able to apply enough force on Shigure to deflect a cannonball. Her speed and agility has also greatly improved, able to jump to very tall heights as well as using the Rokushiki Soro technique to move instantaneously. Tashigi has shown exceptional pain tolerance, able to withstand Monet's violent frostbiting her shoulder. She possesses both observation haki and armament haki, though she is not a master in either of them. Now moving to Hina. Black Age Hina is a marine officer and a former classmate of Vice Admiral Smoker. Django and Full Body are currently her subordinates. She was originally introduced as a captain. During the time skip, she was promoted to the rank of Rear Admiral. Hina has a tendency to speak in the third person. It is normal for young children in Japan to refer to themselves by using their own name as a first-person pronoun. An example of this is Hina fail. This is seen as cute. Aside from this habit, however, she does not make any effort to act cutely and usually appears very stoic. She has been shown to be a respectful and a rational person, calmly admitting her loss after trying to capture Luffy. She seems to be quite knowledgeable on historical facts, as she mentioned the legendary Rocks pirates, whose existence is only more commonly known among older marines such as Garp and Sengoku rather than most marines of her generation. Hina is a long-term friend of Vice Admiral Smoker, having joined the marines at the same time he did. She has helped him escape from situations that could have gotten him fired. Because they have known each other for a long time, Hina calls him Smoker-kun, a Japanese honorific used usually for younger peers, while Smoker addresses Hina by her name alone, which in Japanese shows either sign of disrespect or closeness. Hina has proven to be quite perceptive, as she was able to see through Miss Goldenwick's, Mr. Five's and Miss Valentine's disguise by looking at their wanted posters. She is a skilled unarmed combatant and was able, with the aid of her Delfruit, to defeat Mr. 2 Bon Clay, an extremely powerful hand-to-hand fighter in a one-on-one battle on 2 separate occasions. Hina ate the Ori Ori no Mi, a Paramecia type Delfruit that allows her to create iron bars and create iron bindings on her opponents. This power earned her the nickname Hina the Black Cage. She can place restraints on people by sweeping her limbs through them. As the victim passes through her body, the body part they pass through turns into an iron restraint, leaving them trapped in a ring of iron. The body part she uses generates immediately. She can also extend long iron cage bars from her body, which can use to strike at her opponents. Those bars are able to wrap around and trap anyone who interacts with them, friend or foe alike. This allows Hina to bind multiple people at once. With this, I covered everything that I wanted to cover about Tashigi and Hina in this video. And that will be all for this video. If you like this video, leave a like, leave your thoughts in the comments below, or subscribe to the channel for more One Piece content as well as other manga content, and until next time, take care.